Hey, what is up everybody, Blaze here, and today I have for you guys another video of Persona 5X. Inside today's video, guys, we're going to be going ahead and doing a little bit of the Velvet Trials here and checking out if we can score pretty decent. Now, I haven't done many of these mainly because I was saving them for a couple videos. I think this is probably the best way I'm going to go about doing Velvet Trials here because they can take a little bit of some time. And I feel like a lot of you guys really want to see exactly what happened there. So I think this is the best way to go about it. So if you guys enjoy videos like these, be sure to sit back, relax, enjoy, and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It really does mean a lot to me. Now, when it comes down to Velvet Trials here, we do have to make sure a lot of characters are pretty much prepped and ready, in which unfortunately for me, I have not done that. I'm one of the few people who have slowly gotten up characters, but I'm still slowly behind most, especially when it comes down to at least these aspects of what we're going to go ahead and utilize. So we do have a few of these that do need a little bit of some tweaking. So I do need to go ahead and try to make them as good as possible. I think the current one that we're working with is an ice-based one. So I want to make sure that everything for our Mont is pretty decent. Now, the things that we do need to go ahead and utilize is going to be the skill 2 and mainly the skill 3. So I'm going to try my hardest to really just upgrade these to probably like a good bare minimum, whether it's like, is it level 4 that we start to get changes? Oh yeah. So we might go ahead and just get them up to 2 levels, and I think that might be it because I'm trying my hardest to not utilize a ton of materials when it does come down to this. So go ahead and go into Velvet Trials here, and the first thing that we want to use is the first ones here. So the first one that we're going to get is a fire and wind, which of course I can easily do, and we have double ice. So let's go ahead and check out this. For fire and wind, I think our best choice is going to be utilizing these two, making sure we have the sustainability, and then I guess we can try to get rid of it as fast as possible with Floret. Seeing that they don't have many sustain on their team, we're going to go ahead and utilize this team to keep us alive with this dagger as well. If we want it, we could very well get them a little bit lower and try and use something like this for personas, and I think that should be good. Or at least our next one here, this one is double ice, so we have to make sure we have decent characters for this. I think the best way to kind of take care of this is making sure we can keep Mont dealing as much damage as possible while making sure everyone lives with Shun. So best bet is to do something like this. We're going to change the weapon on over, and we might need a little bit of extra buffs or extra things to help us out. So what I'm thinking is we use Succubus, use this for a defense down, and then we have some ice aspects on here as well. This one has Racunda, so it could be very, very helpful, and we do need the AoE freeze, so this might be actually very well worth it. But let's go ahead and dive straight on in. Hope you guys have been having a lot of fun with at least P5X. I have been at least enjoying myself on both clients recently. It's been absolutely fun to at least do something like this here, and I'm going to continue having my fun with it as well. But first things first, I'm going to buff up at least our on here, make sure everything goes well. And then we need to slowly take down the one that does need to, of course, get down with the amount of what is it called? The amount of winded stacks here. So let's get this on down here, making sure we deal as much damage as possible. And then from here on, get another knock in. And I think our best bet is to just knock anyways here, seeing that we do need the all out attacks. And since we ended it with a DPS, this actually could be very well helpful, or at least our amount of damage we can do. So I'm gonna take some damage. It's gonna kind of suck here, but we can actually go ahead and heal this up pretty easily. So let's go ahead and do that as well. Lucky for us, let's go ahead and use our skill 1, making sure everyone is good and at least kind of defended. And at this point in time, I think a good point is to try and make sure we can proc some winded stacks. We got one on the left side, but we didn't get one on the right side, so that's perfectly fine here. And I think a good part to us is I want to kind of at least focus down this right side first, so then we can put every last bit of attack or fire damage on the left side here. So I'm gonna go ahead and let our man Floret continue focusing down the one on the left, and then we're gonna go ahead and focus the one on the right after. So let's go ahead and use this here to deal a decent bit of damage. We're probably gonna end up killing with on, but it's kind of gonna suck there, but perfectly fine still. If he goes bye-bye, we can start focusing on this one down here. So let's use our skill 1, get a knock. Now we don't really want to hit with this as well because our knock is not going to deal much damage with this. So let's try to extend that burn, make sure they take some decent damage here. I'm going to go ahead and shield here because we don't really want anyone dealing too much damage. I think this might actually end up killing, but let's go ahead and utilize it, get some decent points off of it, so then we could probably go to our next side. So boom. All right, cool. Got some decent damage and decent points off of this. Pretty positive. Once we finish everything on the other side, we should be pretty good. And we have at least 18 more actions. So I think we're looking pretty decent right now. Now, Armand is not going to deal the best of damage, so we do have to try and at least accommodate with this. And I think our best bet is to make sure that our, first of all, team can live. So no matter what, we need to make sure at all costs Shun is going to get at least attacked. And I think our best bet is now to start focusing down on at least doing as much damage as possible with Armand. So we're going to go ahead and use our skill 2. We need to at least do her whole gimmick of how she does her damage, which is getting 10 whole stacks of ice crystals, and then we'll be able to use our skill 3. So let's go ahead and do this correctly. I think we have more than enough damage, if I'm being honest, for this. So we'll go ahead and use our skill 3. Utilize this to our best amount of effectiveness here. And then use our skill 3 here, making sure we get that attack up. Seeing that this is for ice, we're going to go ahead and pop this off, making sure they can deal little damage. We're going to pop off. Since this has the defense now, let's go ahead and actually focus this one here. Pop off the ult. Helps us out on the damage factor. And you know what? Since we are using our DPS, we can go ahead and use this as well and follow up as well for the extra points. So that does help us out a lot in that aspect. I would like to get down the defense, but I also think utilizing the ice skill could be very helpful. So let's go ahead and use Mabufu here. And then use our skill 3 since we're at 10 to actually kill these off. So boom, decent bit of damage. We get the follow-up hit as well, which does a decent bit of damage as well. So we're looking pretty darn good. I think for us, we can go ahead and try to end this off maybe in 1 extra turn. I think that should be good enough. So let's go ahead and get another hit in. And I don't want to knock with our man Wonder. So let's go ahead and pop off Rakunda, making sure we can take down that defense. And then we'll just use our skill 2. All right, and we ended up getting our 3 stars. So that was already perfect there. We did pretty darn well. We're gonna go ahead and do one more before we end off the video here. And I think this is what I'm gonna try to do, is try to make a good little series of this, which is gonna have stage 13 and 14 for this one. And as we go, we can see how many of these we can actually put in. We have wind, and then we have curse. The next one is gonna be size. So pretty much for this one, we're gonna have to rely primarily on wonder, at least getting the psi weaknesses. While this one, we could probably just go ahead and utilize our what's it called, Joker, Ran, and Florette. That should be more than enough. This team should not need to live, so we're gonna go ahead and use this as well. Another character that we could possibly use is just gonna be this for certain attacks here. I think a winded character would still be good, so we can have that. And on the off chance that we need any type of like fence downs or anything like that, we can use our man Yonosik for the mark. Now for everyone else here, seeing this one is more for the size side of things, we do have to use Moko. Moko is going to be very helpful for that, making sure we don't die too often. And then we have to slowly work on survivability, because at this point in time, now I have to make sure that everyone pretty much lives, and that our man Wonder is going to deal the most amount of damage out of this. So since we're playing with DPS Wonder, we're going to have to go ahead and use this dagger, and this is going to keep us out, or at least keep us dealing the most damage to make sure we can get that lovely point value that we do need. First things first, we're going to use our skill 3, get the knock in here, making sure we're dealing as much damage as possible. Use our skill 1. It's going to get a nice old knock, so I'm just going to go ahead and follow up with a skill 2, or at least a follow-up 2, making sure we get some points. Then on this one, we need to start working on this guy to the right. Now, we're not going to break anything fully because, of course, we need to make sure we're dealing the most damage as possible. So I might end up attacking this one on the left, but I kind of want to save the knockdown for next round here. So, you know, yeah, now we got to kind of make use of everything. We're still dealing some decent damage, so we'll get the knockdown. do the all-out attack. This should deal a decent bit of damage while getting us some decent points here. And then what we'll do next round is, instead of using an AoE hit with our man Joker, we're gonna go ahead and use it different. Now we did get brainwashed, so we do need to see if we can get rid of this here. Go ahead and get rid of that immediately. And oh no, that's forget. That's what it was. We didn't get brainwashed. That's forget. So kind of problematic here. Unfortunately, we did kind of get messed up here. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna increase our attack florette itself. And then I'm going to just go ahead and just, what is it called? We're just gonna shield up here. We don't want to deal too much damage. So what I can do here is let's focus more on the winded side of things, because we're gonna try and make something happen. So let's use our skill 3 here, or at least our actual highlight. And that ended up killing. I didn't think that was gonna kill, to be honest. I was gonna try and do a power play, try to get the defense down and then go for the kill, but unfortunately that's what ended up happening. So I'm gonna go ahead and use our skill 2, and I'm gonna make sure we use this on Wonder, making sure he can get as much attack up as possible. And then from here on, I do want at least Soy to make sure he's getting targeted. So we're gonna go ahead and use our skill 3, or at least our skill 2 there. And then from here, we can kind of start setting up. So we're gonna use our skill 1, make sure we get the defense down. And then we're gonna go ahead and knock this down as well, and just go ahead and pop off this again. Now, overall, we don't technically want Wonder to be at least triggering this, but seeing Wonder is our highest, at least DPS character in this aspect, we're gonna probably start triggering it a little bit more often, seeing that he's probably gonna deal the most damage out of everyone here, getting us those nice old points. So go ahead, get hit with this. I think we're still doing pretty decent. What I could possibly do is to make sure we're all on the right objective, we're gonna use our skill 3, making sure we can get that lovely increased damage amount. And then we need to use our skill 1 to gain some extra damage off right here. And then we're going to use Wonder to get that last bit of damage into our AoE attack, or at least our all-out attack. Leads us to some big points. And if they don't all die here, which luckily they didn't die, we're going to go ahead and focus more or less on everything else. So what we could possibly do, we can inflict someone with sleep. So go ahead and do this real quick. Pop this on off, which, there we go, we got the damage taken. And now we can go ahead and use this for the extra damage as well, for our extra points. All right, and that gave us our 3-star. So looking pretty darn good. We have both of these on done here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please do smash that like button, which beforehand, consider subscribing if you are new. I do daily content on P5X, and we're only going to continue from here. But till then, everybody, peace.